Every banned execution method in 15 minutes. Penile treadmill? Penile treadmill? Is that what that's? Whoa. Don't threaten me with a good time now. Don't threaten me with a good time. Let's see this video though.
Blowing from a gun.
Yo, what type of whimsical death is this? Bro, I thought this only happened in cartoons. They were putting people on cannons and shooting them up in the air?
During the 18th and 19th centuries, the British Empire had a different idea of what it meant to go out with a bang, because they did it literally. That's why a lot of criminals were killed through an execution method called blowing from a gun. This banned execution method may sound like it's something out of a Wild West movie, but it was a gruesome way to carry out capital punishment. Imagine getting strapped to the mouth of a cannon after they found you guilty of a serious crime like murder or treason. From there, someone lights the cannon and—
Okay, that's good though. What if anything? Bro, what happens to punishments like this? If anything, this will just tell people or whatever, you know, not to do these crimes. Because if I learned that if I killed somebody, I was gonna have to get blown out of a cannon as execution, I would immediately not want to do it anymore.
the cannonball goes through your body in a matter of seconds, killing
Oh, I thought you were flying through the cannon. You just get a hole through your stomach?
you before you can even cover your ears. But that's not even the worst part. Your organs, guts, and blood would be splattered all over the place. Meanwhile, your head would look like a bridal bouquet as it flies through the air. And whoever catches it probably wishes he wouldn't be next in line.
Imagine if you catch it, you get good luck or something. Like, you know how flowers in weddings, if the women catch it, they like are the next one to get married or something. You just like stand in the back and you're like, hey, I gotta catch it. And then get that bitch.
Reasoning behind this execution method was partly to serve as a public display of punishment. It was a way to intimidate others and show the severe consequences of certain crimes, like treason. The British really knew how to put on a show, and no one wanted to be the star attraction because it meant lighting up the sky with your blood. But even then, this execution method faced criticism. After all, you'd be wasting a lot of gunpowder and cannonballs to unalive one person. Of course, it was also pretty barbaric and inhumane, so by the 20th century, it was largely abandoned because there were better ways to go out than being blasted from a cannon. Penal treadmill. Haha, yes, the treadmill. It's everyone's favorite machine in the gym because people nowadays think it's too mainstream to go outside and simply jog. You probably noticed that—
Whoa, what do you mean it's whoa, I mean, it's just a treadmill. Treadmills have existed forever.
Half an hour on a treadmill is already a ton of work and effort. But imagine if you had to do it for hours until you die from exhaustion. That's the penal treadmill for you. Originally, the treadmill was invented to grind corn. No one even thought it—
Why did they call it the penile treadmill? To grind fucking corn? Why didn't they just call it the corn treadmill? Anything else? They just
was a good exercise machine because people had a ton of open space to jog and run around during the 19th century, but they eventually realized it could be used for hard labor in prisons. Imagine being sentenced to a lifetime of working out. Instead of a fitness machine, it was more of a horror story that never ended. The penal treadmill was a large wooden wheel, making you look like a giant hamster. You would be forced to walk on this device set at an incline. As you walk, you turn the wheel, which could be connected to various machinery, often to grind grain or pump water. So it was basically a combination of working and working out. However, prison systems abused this punishment at the expense of the inmates. They weren't training people for marathons, but were literally running them to death. Prisons knew that these guys were essentially going to be executed anyway, so they used them for labor until they—
Shoot, I don't blame them, bro. I mean, depending on the crime, shoot. Nah, it's gotta be crazy, bro, if you're falsely accused and then this is your punishment. Hey guys, Tom NFG here. You know, only half of you guys are subscribed and even less of you guys have noties on. I hate to be a burden, but you know, I really appreciate it if you hit that sub button and the little bell next to it. You know, it doesn't take long. I know you can get mixed up in the algorithm and everything. But yeah, also tune into the streams. You know, we have a lot of fun over there. I'm telling you, we have a lot of parties going on over there. Yeah, that's it. Bye. Damn. You're just eternally like running and can never stop.
Exhaustion. They were hitting two birds with one stone by killing a prisoner and grinding grain. Of course, the penal treadmill wasn't always a stationary version of the death march. There were prison systems that used it to keep prisoners occupied, so they wouldn't go around prison stabbing their fellow inmates. But it became clear that this wasn't the best way of executing or rehabilitating a prisoner. No one uses penal treadmills anymore. Now the only reason you'd want to be on a treadmill is to kill those stubborn love handles. Electrocution. When scientists like Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison started experimenting with electricity, they probably never imagined people using it to turn people into overloaded appliances.
This has got to be the worst way to actually get like packed, because you feel it through your whole body. Like, you ever get shocked a little bit and you have to like back up or whatever? This is single-handedly the worst way to go out.
However, electrocution eventually became the mainstream execution method in the US and a lot of other countries during the early 20th century. The idea of electrocution was pretty straightforward. You'd be buckled to a chair with leather straps. Think of a barber chair.
And I heard it doesn't even work all the time, right? Like, sometimes they have to like redo it multiple times. So you'll get shocked like 5 times and you're still not dead.
It's more intense and prevents you from squirming around. From there, they'd hook you up with electrodes on your head, and when someone flips a switch, you'd be jolted with a few thousand volts that would fry your system and stop your heart and brain. Electrocution was supposed to be quick and painless, making it seem like a more humane way of killing inmates on death row. But electrocution didn't always go as planned, like a faulty light bulb flickering instead of going out smoothly. Sometimes it wasn't quick or painless. Some executions turned into horrifying spectacles, where the person was shocked multiple times, sometimes causing burns, convulsions, and even fires, as if the execution turned into an impromptu human barbecue. These
Bro, I wouldn't even want to watch that. Like, can't you watch people get executed? Would y'all watch a person, let's say somebody, I don't know, kill somebody that you know, and then you're like, I hate this person, they're about to get executed, and you're ready? Would you watch that? Bro, I can't watch something like that. Like, it's enough for me to just realize that, you know, they passed away, they got packed or whatever for doing their crime. I do not have to actually see it. It would really depend on who it is. Like, if it's somebody like, I don't know, somebody really close to me, like in my close family, then I might go to watch it because I'm like, bro, I hate this person for what they did. But like electrocution, nah, bro, just like chop their head off or something.
Led to more criticism of electrocution. People started questioning if it actually is a humane way to go. So when gruesome stories came out, states began to phase out electrocution. By the time lethal injection came out, the electric chair was effectively banned in a lot
lethal injection, I heard it doesn't even work sometimes.
Of different states and countries, and is more of a relic of a shocking era of criminal justice. Gas chamber. You're a criminal condemned to
I can guess the time when this was banned.
Death because you murdered someone by choking them. The executioner, in a twist of irony, basically sentenced you to die in a similar way you killed your victim. But instead of someone choking the life out of you by strangling your neck, you're going into the gas chamber. The gas chamber might sound like something from a science experiment gone wrong, but it was once a popular execution method in the United States during the early 20th century.
What? This was a common thing?
It involves sealing you in an airtight chamber. From there, a chemical reaction would create a toxic gas, usually hydrogen cyanide. As soon as you inhale the gas, it would prevent your body's cells from using oxygen. In theory, the lack of oxygen would be like a lullaby that would force you into a deadly nap before you eventually die in your sleep. But the thing is that it didn't always go as smoothly as intended. Theoretically, the gas chamber was supposed to be a nicer way of offing people because you'd be killing them while they're unconscious. Still, it often caused...
They didn't even give them like a sleeping pill. Hold up, how was this humane? If they gave them a sleeping pill and then after that they were knocked out already and then it happened, then yes. They're literally alive breathing in the gas.
Suffering. Sometimes it could take several minutes or even longer for you to lose consciousness. You're trapped in a room where the air you breathe is the enemy. That's not the most peaceful way to go out, especially when it feels like an invisible hand is wrapped around your neck, strangling you to death. Then came World War II, when the Nazis used gas chambers for the mass execution of Jews in their concentration camps. It left a bad taste because no one wanted to use an execution method responsible for killing millions of innocent people. After all, you wouldn't want to be called the next Hitler by using a gas chamber to execute a prisoner. Eventually, different countries and states...
Wait, I wonder if there's countries they still have it in. United States, the gas chambers was legal in a few states, but most have been abolished. As of recent years, only a very few U.S. states, Arizona, Missouri, and Wyoming, still maintain laws that allow for gas chamber use as a backup method. Bro, it is 2024, bro. Wyoming, of course. Hey, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised Wyoming got some shit like that, bro. Ain't nobody gonna be capitally punished over there, though, man.
It slowly phased gas chambers out. The last time it was used in the US was in 1999. Since then, the only deadly gas people have been inhaling is the one caused by eating too many burritos. Beheading.
Okay, buddy.
If you're a medieval king, your
like, bro, this seems like the most valid way to get executed. How is this like, bro, what?
favorite line would have been, "Off with their heads." That's because beheading was kind of like the norm when dealing with criminals who deserved execution. But there's a reason why people don't get their heads separated from their
buying
shoulders
electric chair on
nowadays,
Amazon? Why do
beheading
you
is
know
as
that?
straightforward as it sounds. It's the removal of your head from your body, usually using a big-ass sword, axe, or guillotine, depending on the period and location. The guillotine was the most famous beheading method during the medieval period because it could cut your head clean without needing numerous and messy hacks from a sword. But there was a time when beheading was the honorable way to go out. It was often reserved for nobility because it was the quickest way out. After all, only noble people deserve the finest death. Then again, there were times when a beheading was more like a medieval version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Either the guillotine wasn't sharp enough, or the executioner wasn't having a good day at work.
Oh, okay, that's bad. Nah. Okay, I thought they did it in one slice. See, if it's taking multiple slices to cut my head off, I might as well have just gone with something else, bruh.
So instead of a quick and clean death, it turned into a gruesome spectacle. Eventually, beheading was banned in
Just sit there
England
with
during
a
the
massive gash on your neck. Ooh.
1800s, but still continued in the US until the 1930s. Then the United
That's really not that long ago when you think about it.
Nations and other international bodies decided that beheading was incompatible with human dignity. After all, it's one thing to punish a criminal, but it's another to treat a person's neck like a stubborn tree trunk. Crucifixion. Crucifixion is the type of punishment that would make you wonder how and why people thought that nailing criminals on wood and suspending them in
I forgot this was actually like a punishment, because most people associate it with Christianity and stuff, but it's like an actual punishment that they gave to people.
the air was a good execution method, and the cruelty involved with it is one of the reasons why no one gets nailed on the cross anymore. Essentially, crucifixion is when you get nailed or tied to a large wooden cross and left there to hang until you die. Unlike some execution methods, this one wasn't meant to be merciful. Instead, it was meant to make you suffer a slow, torturous, and painful death. The worst part is you can't even suffer privately because you'll be placed in a very public area where people can see and watch you in your most miserable moment. You're basically a billboard, an
It's gotta be the
example of
saddest
what
way
would
to go out,
happen
bro.
if people committed the crime you did. The process
was always
itself
a
was
punishment by the
excruciating.
Romans.
First, you would be beaten or flogged, weakening you before the main event. Then you'd be nailed through the wrists and sometimes the feet, though tying with ropes was also used in some cases. Once on the cross, you were left to hang awkwardly, which made breathing difficult. It was like trying to do yoga with someone who was sitting on your chest. You would have to push yourself up to take a breath. But the pain from the nails made that nearly impossible.
And
Eventually,
the nails get rusty too. Ugh, you probably get like maggots in your goddamn hands and in your body.
you'd die from a combination of things like suffocation, blood loss, shock, and exposure to the elements. One of the most famous examples is when the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was crucified. Even though it was a common way to punish people back then, it was officially banned by Emperor Constantine in the 4th century CE. He
God damn, they banned it a while ago. Holy shit.
stopped it because it was brutally cruel, and also because the cross had become an important symbol for Christianity. Eye gouging. If there was ever
My eyes hurt, 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 my eyes hurt. I could only imagine that shit. Yo, I've seen like how they portray eye gouging in movies, like whenever they grab somebody's eye in a movie and have to push it in. Imagine the pain, bro. You'd slowly feel your eye just disappearing.
a fate worse than
Just close your eyes. We got a genius over here.
death, it would be losing your eyesight. That's why eye gouging is considered one of the worst ways to go, especially when you have to go through an agonizing experience before you eventually kick the bucket, and you literally can't even see death coming. This method was practiced in ancient civilizations such as the Assyrians and Babylonians. It basically involved removing or destroying your eyes, kind of like an ancient unsubscribe button, but much more permanent and less convenient. The whole process was an agonizing, drawn-out experience, which not only punished, but also, in a two birds, one stone kind of way, often killed. It was a common fate for enemies and prisoners of war who
Damn, so you really die when like your eyes get gouged out? I would think like you would still be alive. Like there's certain body parts I think that can get taken off and you'd be good. Like your ears could get taken off. Oh, obviously your lips, your nose, whatever. But like, damn, I didn't know your eyes. You just like are done for after.
probably wish
Or it's
they'd
like you
signed
just
up for a
die
less
to go
painful
away.
form of punishment. Depending on how it was carried out, eye gouging could lead to slow death due to infection, trauma, or not having the ability to fend for yourself. Imagine driving on the
Most
freeway
likely
with
bleed
no
out.
headlights and streetlights. It's a bad death just waiting to happen. The difference here is that there are no airbags to help you in an accident if someone gouged your eyes out. Gouging was not only about pain and death, but also about total humiliation and dehumanization. In ancient times, your survival was directly tied to your strength, independence, and ability to navigate the world without metaphorical training wheels. So if someone took your eyesight, you were stripped of your dignity before death. The practice was eventually
Be real, what would y'all rather get taken? Your eyes or your meat? Like, bruh, at least, you know, if you got your meat, you could still enjoy yourself. You don't got your meat, bruh, then it's gonna be hard to get enjoyment.
Eventually banned and abandoned for obvious reasons, because not even the worst criminals
It'd just be like a random hole.
and enemies deserve to suffer the worst kind of death.
Right? No,
If you want to execute someone, you must at least ensure they see it coming. Flaying. You've probably tried peeling
Ew, was that skinning? Ew, 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 ew.
off dried or dead skin before. If you do it right, you won't feel a thing. But if you mess up and peel off healthy skin, you're in for a
Oh my god, bro. This image should give everybody PTSD, bro. This is the worst. Why does our body do that? Why does our body create these goddamn rips?
world of hurt. Now imagine the pain you'd feel if someone peeled off your entire skin, and not just the dead ones. That's how painful flaying is. Basically, this execution method involves the removal of your skin, partially or entirely. First, they'd boil you just enough until your skin is tender. From there, they'll use a sharp knife to tear your skin from your flesh. If that wasn't bad enough, they usually start with your face or somewhere sensitive, such as your downstairs parts, where you'll be getting circumcised against your will. While getting your skin ripped off your flesh isn't always enough to kill you, it's the aftermath that makes the matter worse. Your skin is there to give you the aesthetics of an Instagram model and protect you from the elements.
Bro, could y'all imagine how much scarier humans would look like if we just looked like this? Like we had no skin or nothing? We'd actually be disgusting creatures, bro. Nah, humans are aliens.
Bacteria and all sorts of harmful stuff. Without your skin, you'll eventually die from infections. Sometimes flayed people died from sheer pain and blood loss. Flaying was done to inflict severe pain and also send a very clear message to others. Don't mess with us. It was done publicly to ensure the message was sent, delivered, and received. Rulers used it to maintain control through fear because no one wanted to be a human shrimp with their skin all peeled off. Even by ancient world standards, flaying was already too brutal. They didn't need modern human rights standards to ban flaying as an execution method because anything was better than getting peeled like a potato. Coliseum fights. Probably the most dramatic
How was this banned? Is this that bad?
way you'd want to die is through a Coliseum fight. Imagine going out to a frenzied crowd that wants to see blood while you and some other unlucky guy duke it out to see who gets to live. And after finishing the other guy off, you get to shout to the
I feel like this would be cold. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a cruel human being, but you get some serial killers here, get them to fight. I'd be interested.
crowd, "Are you not entertained?" As fun as it may have been to watch Coliseum fights, it was essentially an execution method meant to fill the government's pockets with money while killing condemned criminals. It was the ultimate multitasking execution because everyone except the fighters left happy. The crowd saw an early version of the UFC with fewer punches and more swords. Meanwhile, the government got rid of criminals while selling tickets to the hottest main event of the summer. But this wasn't your typical trial by
bro. Imagine the United States held this, bro. I'd be hyped as fuck. Like they're like, in this corner, we've got Man the Machine the Ripper, a man that killed 15 people across 13 different states. And in this corner, we've got Jiraiya the Head Ripper killing seven people in 4 different states. Jeffrey Dahmer versus Ted Bundy. Bro, I would be there. I would be front row. You imagine how generational that fight would be? That shit would have been so generational.
Combat, where winning a fight proves your innocence. Instead, this was more like a reality show gone rogue, pitting you against other condemned prisoners in a gladiatorial spectacle that entertained the masses in the name of justice. Think of it as a Survivor Death Row edition. Winning a fight means living to fight another match until you eventually die to a stronger fighter, or get fed to the lions in a battle between man and beast. While watching men fighting to the death was a way for people to fuel their bloodlust, there was a moral line being drawn. Coliseum fights were far too brutal and exploitative of the criminals' drive to survive. Eventually, gladiatorial fights in coliseums were outlawed and banned. On the bright side,
come on, bro. Can we not have anything?
They paved the way for today's combat sports, where people still beat each other up.
Oh my god, wait, I just realized that probably is what it came from. Because boxing and all that didn't exist like a long time ago.
Not for the right to live, but for the prize money. Are you not entertained by our videos? If you are, you might want to subscribe to our channel. Execution by Candle. Execution by candle gives the term burning the midnight candle new meaning, because that's one way to light up your night, literally. And let's just say the flames are also there to light you up in the worst way possible. Also simply known as the candle, execution by candle was a slow burn death that was practiced in parts of Europe during the Middle Ages.
So it's literally what I think. So they just had a candle dripping at like 1,000 Celsius degrees on somebody.
The process involved tying you to a chair, often in public, to add an audience for the grim spectacle. Your execution is basically a way of lighting the crowd up in the worst way possible. It gets bad when
You were were set on fire. You were the candle? You were the candle?
Candle is placed at a specific height near you, often dripping with a flammable substance. As the candle burns down, it eventually reaches a point where it ignites the flammable material
Imagine death by a 1,000-degree knife. I don't even want to know.
around you, turning you into a human bonfire. But the people around you are not there for some s'mores or campfire stories. Instead, they're there to witness a level of terror that was meant to instill fear. The worst part is that execution by candle
See, if they bring like any of these back, this is enough to make me never even want to like steal like a $2 gum from or Walmart or some shit.
was meant to be a long and agonizing way of going out. It adds a psychological element that tortures you as you watch the candle wax melting. Every inch lost is an inch closer to your doom. You can't do anything but say your prayers and watch your life flashing in front of you while the candle acts as your slow-moving executioner. Thankfully, you can't find this sort of execution method nowadays because torturing people to death is now one of the biggest human rights violations. Now, when you blow out candles, it's more of wishing for a longer life instead of counting down to your last breath.
Shoot, man. W video. Yeah, that would shoot. It would scare me. That would work on me. So I don't know. Maybe they do got to bring these back. God damn, bro. But yeah, if you're watching on the tube, make sure to join the Discord or watch the streams.
Subscribe to Tommy and FG.